The next topic, transformer coupled class A amplifier. So in the transformer coupled class A amplifier, the everything remains the same. The only change is in the place of RC, we will insert a transformer. That is the change. Here we'll be using the same fixed bias transistor in C configuration. So this is the circuit diagram for transformer coupled class A amplifier. So the one of the major drawbacks of the series for class A amplifier was RC itself was the RL, and there was no isolation between AC and DC. So to overcome that problem, we are using a transformer which tries to isolate AC from DC. So here we are going to assume that this winding resistance, that means the coil whatever we are used for winding purpose, this winding resistance are of 0 ohms. So they don't have any resistance. That is the assumption we are going to do. And the second assumption is there is no DC voltage drop across the primary of the transformer. So this is the primary of the transformer and this is the secondary of the transformer. And we don't have, we assume that there is no resistance because when there is no resistance here, obviously there will be no voltage drop. So that is the second assumption we do. So when resistance is absent, can you tell me how will be the slope of DC load line?
It's a straight line.
Linear, sir.
Straight line, sir.
Straight line in the sense horizontal straight line, vertical straight line.
Horizontal, sir.
Vertical.
Horizontal, sir.
Horizontal straight line, sir.
It's a horizontal.
Horizontal. Okay. Any other answer? Okay.
So it should be vertical, no?
It will be a vertical straight line, not horizontal straight line. So we know that 1 by R, which is the slope. So it is equal to 1 by 0. That means it is infinity. So slope will be equal to infinity. So now on applying KVL to the outer loop. So on applying KVL to the outer loop, what you will be getting? What is the equation you will be getting? Outer loop is this one. What is the equation? VCC, then what is the next thing we'll be getting in this? Hmm? So since there is no resistance here, obviously it will be, even though IC flows here, it will be IC into 0, it is 0. So the only thing what you will be having is minus VCE, that is equal to 0. That is VCC minus VCC is equal to VCE. This is the parameter which we are going to get. So while in order to plot the DC load line, what do we do usually? What is the basic steps which we consider to plot the DC load line? Hmm? What is the step which is considered to plot the DC load line or the procedure? We have done it already to find the DC load line. What is the method?
So using the outer loop equation, we take two cases, and in case 1 we put IC is equal to 0, and in case 2 we put VC is equal to 0.
Yes, good. So we will be applying KVL to the outermost loop, and we'll take two cases. In one case we put IC is equal to 0, in other case we put VC is equal to 0. But here the output equation whatever we have got is this one. Here there is no IC parameter only. So that's why we cannot plot along y-axis. There is no point on y-axis only, because in the equation itself we don't have IC parameter. Because of resistance is considered to be 0, because the resistance of this coil itself acts as collector resistance. So since, because we will be writing IC into RC, so since this is 0, this entire term will be tending to 0. That's why we have written VCC is equal to VCE. So we are having only one point. We don't have any point along y-axis. So that's why when you don't have any point along y-axis, then it will be a straight line like this. Okay, suppose if you have only the current point and you don't have the voltage point, then it will be a horizontal straight line. So since here we are having only the voltage point, we are getting a vertical straight line. So the DC load line is a vertical straight line passing through a voltage point on x-axis. This is the DC operation. Now coming to the DC input power. So for DC input power, what is the equation we usually use? PDC is equal to VCC or VCE. VCC into ICQ. This is the equation we are having for DC power input. So till here whatever we have done, this is the our DC analysis. Next we need to do the AC analysis. Let me see what happens for the AC analysis. So finally, whatever the amplifier, power amplifier we are going to discuss, we are supposed to find efficiency. So in exam, explain the working of explain the operation of amplifier and derive the expression. This is the common question that will be asked. So coming to AC analysis. So when we do AC analysis, what happens is, we told that the primary coil is not having any resistance. That is fine. Just look into the circuit and tell me, even the secondary part of the circuit or secondary coil of the circuit will be having some resistance, or it will not have some resistance? Even that will not have resistance.
Sir, it will have RL, sir.
So secondary coil will have some resistance.
Secondary coil will have some resistance. Yes, good. Secondary coil will have some resistance because RL is connected across the secondary. So whenever, please remember, whenever AC analysis we are going to do, we are going to consider AC signal. And in power amplifier, AC signal means we are going to get that signal across the load. DC, it will work only within the primary coil of the transformer. So AC, it will be around the secondary coil of the transformer, because the AC power will be delivered across the load. So whenever we are going to consider AC analysis, during that time, the load resistance which is connected across the secondary of transformer, it will have reflected load resistance on the primary of transformer. This will happen. This will happen only in the AC analysis, not in the DC analysis. This the resistance, whatever you are having across the secondary of the transformer, it will have some of its effect over the primary coil. That effect of secondary resistance, or the effect of the resistance which is connected in the secondary coil over the primary coil of the transformer, is known as reflected load resistance. This is represented by RL dash. Okay, RL dash is the reflected load resistance of the load resistance which is connected in the secondary. So this RL dash will be observed over the primary coil. Initially we have assumed it was zero resistance, but now when you consider AC analysis, this will have some of its reflections over the primary. And this RL dash is given by the formula RL dash is equal to N1 by N2 whole square into RL. So you know N1 and N2 are the turns. These are the number of turns in the primary, and this is the number of turns in the secondary. N1 by N2, it gives the ratio, turns ratio it is going to give. Now when you are having RL dash on the primary of the transformer, now tell me, do we or we are able to get any slope in this case at least? Or here also you'll be having a vertical straight line or horizontal straight line or something else other than this? So will you be able to plot a slope in this?
Yes, sir.
How? On what basis you can tell? Yes, your answer is correct. Yes is correct. But how?
So since we have a resistance, sir, the IC value will not be 0.
Which resistance you are having?
RL will be reflected on the primary coil, sir. So the resistance will not be 0.
Yes. So RL dash, see, I told you RL dash is the reflected load resistance which is appearing across the primary because of this load resistance which is connected across the secondary. Because of this reflection over this primary, we are going to have a resistance or a voltage drop here. When you have a resistance here, automatically there will be a voltage drop. When you have voltage drop, you cannot consider IC into R as 0. It will be having some value. When you are having some value, obviously you will be having a point along y-axis, and obviously along x-axis we will be getting a point. So when we join these two, you'll be getting a slope. So this is known as AC load line. So this is known as DC load line. This is known as AC load line. So under AC analysis, we'll be having a slope. For DC analysis, we'll not have a slope. That is what the inference we obtained. So that is possible. The AC load line is possible only because of the reflected load resistance. See, here it is not a light to get reflected, but since RL is having some effect over the primary, we call it as reflected. That's it. It doesn't mean that it's a light or something like optics where the light it gets reflected. It is not like that. Since this RL is having effect, it's some part of its effect over the primary, we call it as reflected load resistance. Okay. After this, we will try to find out. We have found the PDC. Now we'll find out PAC. So for PAC, we have formula Vm into Im divided by 2. Can you tell me how we got this Vm into Im by 2? Okay.
So we have to consider
So-
the RMS value. RMS will be Vm by root 2 into Im.
Correct. Good. See, it is first step is VRMS into IRMS. So VRMS is Vm by root 2. This is Im by root 2. When you multiply this, you'll get Vm Im by 2. This is what we have written here directly. Now, when you consider a signal like this, what you call this voltage as? This is voltage, this is current. Excuse me. What do you call this voltage? It is known as peak voltage. Then what do you call this voltage?
Peak to peak, sir.
Yes, it is peak to peak voltage. Now, here it is Vm Im by 2. So can I write Vm as V peak to peak by 2 and Im as I peak to peak by 2? See, this is peak to peak. Half of this is peak. That is Vm. Right? V peak is how it is described by Vm. So this is peak to peak means half of this is peak voltage. So I can write Vm is equal to V peak to peak by 2, Im is equal to I peak to peak by 2. This, for this peak to peak voltage and current, we can rewrite it as peak to peak can be written as V max minus V min by 2 into I max minus I min by 2. So this part I'm writing it as max minus min, max minus min. So that is the actual value, V max, V min. If you subtract these two, you'll be getting peak to peak. So divide by 2, you'll get peak voltage. Take this as equation number 1 and this as equation number 2. So substitute 2 in 1. Sorry, this is for Vm, this is for Im. Now on substitution, we get half into Vmax minus Vmin into Imax minus Imin divided by 4. So finally, can I write this entire term as 8, including this 2? So this is equation number 3. So this gives PAC. Now, while finding out the efficiency, we will be finding minimum efficiency or maximum efficiency?
Maximum, sir.
Maximum. Yes, good. So we'll be finding maximum efficiency. So while finding out maximum efficiency, what we do is we take up the maximum swing the signal can have. See, this is the maximum swing. So this is Imin, Imax. And one more question, what happens if the signal crosses this level? I have told it several times. Why do you consider only this point as maximum current, this point as maximum voltage? Why can't it go above it? Why can't it cross that point?
So that's a safe limit for the BJT to operate in. After that, it gets spoiled.
Okay. Any other
The
answer?
power dissipation will happen, sir. So device will not operate.
So those are the maximum
other-
voltage and current values we can obtain from the equations. We can't, even if we substitute Imax equals to 0, we will be getting Vmax as our maximum voltage.
Okay.
So since that is the maximum voltage, the signal can't exceed that. It will be clipped off at that point after that.
Yeah, you're partially correct. But why do you think, or is there any relationship between the signal and this plus VCC and minus VE? I had told one property name. We have one property called saturable property. So according to that saturable property, plus VCC and minus VE are going to fix the maximum and minimum values of the output. So if your output tries to cross this limit, it will not damage, the transistor or the amplifier will not get damaged. Instead, it is going to get clipped off. The signal starts getting clipped off. So the maximum output voltage or the current which is allowed is plus VCC in the positive end, and it is minus VE in the negative end. If you take VCC as 12 and minus VE as minus 12, then your output can swing between 12 and minus 12. That means maximum output you can get is 24. Suppose if you are going to if you are going to make this as, instead of 12, if you are going to make it as 24, then you can, the output is allowed to swing between plus 24 to minus 24. Okay, if it tries to cross this limit, then it will start clipping the signal. Clipping means removing certain part of the signal. It will not allow the output signal to cross this level. Okay, this is what happens. So maximum, you can design anything, but if you are keeping your VCC to a particular level, so output cannot cross that level. So you should think, while designing amplifier circuit, you should think what is the maximum output expected. So based upon that, you have to use plus VCC and minus VE. You are expecting output to be 50 volt. And if you are given 12 volt at VCC, obviously it is not possible to get the output, because the plus VCC is going to limit the signal at 12 volt. So if you are expecting 50 volt, then at least you need to keep the input at 26, plus 26 to minus 26. Then you can expect the output can reach 50. So that is what the basic idea here. Now, when you are going to consider here, when you are plotting the DC load line, what is this point? In plotting the DC load line, what is this point? Just go back to the derivation what we have done. What is this point? For PDC, what we have written? No, for PDC, DC operation. DC operation, what we have written? What we have written for VCE? VCE is equal to VCC, right? So if this point is VCC and this is your operating point, what you call this point as? Can I call it as ICQ?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because this is the current which is flowing at our operating level. So it is ICQ. So now, for this, from here to here it is VCC, means from here to here how much it will be? Is it double almost? 2 VCC. Okay, from here to here it is ICQ, means ICQ is coming at the almost half the length of the IC. So this point I can call it as 2 IC. So what will be the Vmax value and what will be the Imax value? It will be 2 VCC, this will be 2 ICC. In the same way, can you tell me what is Vmin and Imin value from the circuit, from this graph?
So 0, sir, both.
Yes, both are 0. Now substitute these values in this equation. Vmax, Vmin, Imax, Imin by 8. So on substitution, we get 2 VCC minus 0 into 2 ICC minus 0 divided by 8. So can I write VCC into ICC? Sorry, ICQ it is. ICQ. This is ICQ. Okay, VCC into ICQ. So VCC into ICQ by 2 because it get cancels. So this is our PAC. What is the formula for efficiency? It is PAC by PDC. Now on substitution, now substitute the values for PAC and PDC.
So 50% sir efficiency.
Yes, correct. Good. So on substitution, this was VCC into ICQ by 2. So we have VCC into ICQ divided by 2 into VCC into ICQ into 100. This will get cancelled and it is 50%. So efficiency is 50%. Okay, now once you are done with this, sometimes they will ask you what is the maximum power output? What is the maximum power output? For maximum power output also we have the same procedure whatever you have done already. So power output is in AC or DC in this case?
AC sir.
AC.
sir.
AC, sir.
Okay. Now, considering maximum power output means obviously we have to consider the cases what we have considered for maximum efficiency. So VM we will consider from the primary side. So V1M is equal to Vmax minus Vmin by 2. So that is equal to 2 VCC minus 0 by 2. That becomes VCC because this to get cancelled. In the same way, IM is equal to ICQ. Same way for Imax minus Imin by 2, it becomes 2 ICQ minus 0 by 2. Everything get cancelled and you'll get IM is equal to ICQ. So for PAC max, if you are considering we are having, okay, you can take VM only, no issues. As per the equation obtained, we are having basic equation as Vm into Im by 2. So for Vm we have obtained VCC, for Im ICQ, so that divided by 2. If you want to substitute some equation for ICQ, what you will substitute? Hmm?
So I saturation by 2.
I saturation by 2 is fine. Other than that,
So VCC by RL dash.
how? How you are going to write that? Yes, your answer is correct. But how?
So because the voltage at that point is a VCC, and you have the resistance, the reflected resistance RL dash. So the current flowing over there is ICQ, hence the applying Ohm's law, we get VCC by RL dash.
See, for DC load line, if for IC saturation, we are having the point as VCC by RL, right? VCC by RL is the point, right? For this DC load line, we write VCC by RL for this particular point. For IC saturation, if it is VCC by RL, then for ICQ, it will be VCC by RL dash, because ICQ, this deals with the DC current. Q means operating point. Operating point is always based on DC supply. So for DC supply, we have to consider the resistance across the primary only. We cannot consider the resistance across the secondary, because DC is flowing through the primary coil of the transformer. So that's why you should take RL dash. I repeat it again. If IC saturation is having VCC by RL, then ICQ, that is quiescent collector current, will be having VCC by RL dash. Why we take RL dash? Because the DC current, the DC is only supplying at the primary of the transformer. So that's why we should take VCC by RL dash. Now substitute this VCC into VCC by RL dash is divided by 2. So this becomes VCC square by 2 RL dash. So this is our PAC max. Suppose you want to write this equation in terms of current. Yeah, I don't want VCC square. I want IC. How you will write? So we'll take back our again the same equation, ICQ by 2, and say for ICQ is equal to VCC by RL dash, then VCC will be equal to ICQ into RL dash. So substitute that ICQ into RL dash into ICQ by 2. So that is equal to ICQ square into RL divided by 2. This is PAC max. This is useful in problems. While deriving the while doing solving the problems, we are going to use this. Now again, the last part, that is power dissipation. So power dissipation, it is given as PD is equal to PDC minus PAC. See, when input power is larger, so obviously more power will be delivered to the load. And what will be the power dissipation when input power is large? That means input signal is large. Okay, in the simple way, if your output is maximum, what happens to the power dissipation? It will be more or less?
Less, sir.
How?
So if output is maximum, PAC is more.
Mm.
So when PAC is more, the value becomes less.
Yes, good. So whenever your output is more, during that time, obviously PAC becomes maximum. So this will be minimum. So you'll get a negative value for PD. So when you get a negative value for PD, it indicates that power dissipation is reduced. Suppose if you don't have any input signal, then PAC becomes equal to 0 and PD will be equal to PDC. So whenever no input signal is been given, during that time, the entire DC power will be dissipated in the form of heat. This is what the power dissipation. So after this, we are going. We will be going for Class B power amplifier, which is very important topic. Before going on to the Class B power amplifier, we'll discuss the limitations, advantages of this series FET, transformer coupled Class A amplifier, and we'll move ahead. So we'll stop here today.